So, where should you be buying in Maidstone? Everyone's different, okay? You get into buy-to-let for investment, and there is two ways that you can earn from buy-to-let investment. On one hand is the yield, which is the rent divided by the capital growth, which is almost like the interest rate. And then on the other hand is what happens to the capital value of the property as it goes up. What you tend to find, and I must stress tend to find, in around 90 to 95% of situations, and there's always exceptions to the rule with such things as houses under multiple occupancy and student lets, which are a complete law to themselves, but in traditional, good old-fashioned professional lets, there is an inverse relationship between yield and capital growth. If you want a decent yield return, the value of the property doesn't tend to go up that much. If you want decent capital growth, which tends to be the posher properties, the yield tends to be low. Let me show you an example. Who here watched the video of me saying that Parkwood had outperformed Allington by a huge percent? Did you see that video? No, you didn't. Oh dear, there we go. Okay, 2 seconds. There we go. So if I said Parkwood and Allington, would you know what those areas are? Yes. Yeah, in the majority of the cases. Anyone who doesn't know? Shout up. Okay, now, Parkwood. So I've got one on the screen now. Ex-local authority. I think that's a 2-bed, isn't it? Could be a 3. So I went on and looked at what are the 2 beds. Now again, I know you can get stuff higher and I know you can get stuff lower than this. But what I did is I picked the same house that was up for sale and the same house up for rent. You with me? See this better. The Parkwood house, the one I was looking at, you could buy for £170,000 and the rent was £600 per calendar month. And I worked that out as a yield of 6.1% per annum. The Allington, I went and looked at a run-of-the-mill, well, nothing run-of-the-mill of Allington, 4-bedroom detached house, £500,000. I think we've got a picture of one here. Might be your house. Here we go. You never know. That sort of things. Very nice, David Wilson box with single garage, very nice. They're quite nice actually because the ensuite goes across the front. £500,000 to buy a 4-bed detached house. I've been reliably informed that those bad boys rent out at around £1,400 a month, possibly a bit more, but around that sort of level, which means the yield is 3.3%. That has outperformed that by around 80%. But then, that's yield. If you were in it for yield, you'd buy in part, you'd have some fun with the tenants. But it depends what you want. Let's go to the other extreme. Since 2004, an average Parkwood property has gone up by 53.7%. Whilst the average 4-bed detached house in Allington has gone up by 84.8%. So it really comes down to it, what do you want, yield or capital growth? Now it isn't black and white as that, because it's very much a seesaw. I've gone to 2 extremes. Modern 4-bedroom detached house in David Wilsonville in Allington versus ex-local authority in a interesting area of Maidstone at the other. And both extremes, one's got high yield but poor capital growth, and the other one has good, decent capital growth but poor yield. So the question is, where are you on this seesaw? Because your property empire, whether it's 1, 10, 100, 1,000 or however many you've got the first question that you have to ask in buy-to-let investment is, why are you getting in? And the next question is, when are you getting out? You know, why have you invested? The amount of landlords I see who just buy something at auction because they went for a 3-bedroom semi and something was a bit cheap, they put their hand up. How many of you have had an MOT where you've actually gone into an agent and said, these are my 5 properties, these are my 10 properties, okay? This is what it's worth, this is what it's rent, although the agent should be able to tell you what it's worth. And then the agent should ask you, and I know these guys at Seekers do this, is why are you in this game? Because if the thing is for yield and sod the consequences, and you've got it in 3-bedroom semis, then you're not going to get the return. But if you want something to sell up to put a grandchild through university, and your investment's not matching what you want from the property, then just like every stockbroker, when you buy and sell shares, you have a stockbroker. That's what you should be doing with an agent, asking them. You talk to them, they'll do it for absolutely free. Give you an MOT and say, right, this is what I want from my portfolio. Is this going to do it? And they might say to you, I'd sell that one and buy a modern 3-bedroom semi there. Because what you don't, I often find landlords think they know everything, but what you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know, how the hell? We think we've all got the answers, but we haven't. Just go and talk to these guys. So, let's go back. I took my glasses off and I can't see now. That's old age for you. Right. There we go. Now, this is an interesting map. The red areas, this is a yield map, yield versus capital growth map. The red areas are high capital growth, low yield. The blue and yellow are high yield, low capital growth. And the yellowy orange ones are somewhere in the middle. Fascinating map. And again, we'll get this out to you on the video. You all right?
I just say I must be colourblind.
You must be colourblind. There you go. So really, it comes down to this seesaw of capital growth and yield. And I'll keep banging on about it. And this is going to look absolutely great on video because I'm just doing the seesaw bit with away from my hands. And what you have to ask yourself is, does your portfolio match what you want to do with your investment? Yes, it's going to get harder in the coming years. To be brutally honest with you, go back 20 years and you could make money. You could make money like as easy as falling off a log. A blind man on a galloping horse could make money on this because you just bought any old stuff and it would grow. Now you need to be smarter, and what I'm advising people is take advice, because if you don't know what you don't know, you don't know. Speak with the professionals, speak with Nigel, speak with the guys there, and show them your portfolio and see if it fits what you want. They'll do this free of charge, won't you?
Of course.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that free? Because if you give in this world, you might consider them to manage your property or do something for them. You never know, but there's no cost or commitment. You don't have to use them. Finally, I think a lot of landlords chase yield at the expense of capital growth. Everyone is different, but really just take a step back, see what you want from the investment, what you want, and then take it forward. And those are my thoughts on the Maidstone property market going forward. I think the buy-to-let market is going to get tougher. You're being taxed heavier, so you need to be a lot smarter with your investments. You need to take advice and opinion and look at your investment. Take advice, you've also got this, do you incorporate and put it into a limited company? A lot of people, that you'll be amazed how many landlords are doing that, but it's not for everyone. Certainly isn't for everyone. Okay. So have a word with your accountant. Have a word with your mortgage advisor, and have a word with these guys at Seekers and talk to them about your investments free of charge. Because even if you don't use them and you like them, You never know. You're down the pub and you'll say, well, who should I use? Well, I manage it all myself because I'm a self-managing landlord, but if you don't want to do it yourself, you want to go and see Nigel and the girls, and because they are fantastic girls. So, there you go. That's it. Nigel, do you want to come to the front? Good. Nigel.
Well, actually, I just want to say a couple of things. I want to say thank you to Chris for
right.
this very entertaining talk, apart from being full of facts. We find it very useful in our business.
Thank you.
A couple of things I wanted to mention. Obviously, some people here I know, some are multiple landlords, some people are single landlords, some people I've never seen before. If I haven't seen you before, and if you could give your name and email addresses to to Zoe, the manageress at Maidstone, we can keep you informed of other events that we're going to be doing over the year. Also, you'll find one of these on your seats. This is a two-sided magazine that we produce every 2 weeks. It goes out to all our landlords and anybody who's interested in property in the whole of Maidstone. And it goes on our blog, on our website, but also if you go to the back of it, you can see how you can actually register with it, and it will automatically come out to you. Okay? The other thing I wanted to say is two things which has nothing to do with property at all. Two things that we as a company are doing over Christmas, which may or may not be of interest to you. The first thing, if you've got, I don't think anybody here will want letters from Santa, but if you've, Michael might, if you've got grandchildren and so on, and if you give us the details, from the 1st of December we'll have a Santa box actually in our office for letters, and they will get a response from Santa, and it's to be the real Santa, I promise you that. And the other thing we're doing is we are a drop-in centre during December for the Maidstone Food Bank. So if any of you, we're going to be inviting out to all our landlords anyway, giving them the information of what they want. So if anybody wants to actually contribute food or whatever to the Maidstone Food Bank, if they come into our office, we'll have sacks there to collect it, and then we will take it up to the food bank. And that's it. Other than that, thank you all very much for coming and supporting this event.
Just before I go, on the back there's the blog. From the new year, twice a week, Zoe and Kim and the girls and Rachel are going to be twice a week, because they've promised me this, haven't you? Are going to go on to Rightmove. This is after Christmas, and twice a week, irrespective of which agent is selling the property, they will pick their favourite buy-to-let investment and will put it onto the blog at least twice a week, irrespective of which agent. If they just put their own on, then there'll be but they're going to go to every agent. And then later in the spring, we're going to be setting up the Maidstone VIP Landlord Club. And the VIP Landlord Club is where you'll get that emailed to you 24 hours in advance before anyone else. So there you go.
But that's in the new year. Keep you guys informed. But anyway, first and foremost, I hope you all had a good time this evening.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, guys.